Hello and welcome. I'm Jon Garlick, and I'm here with the Sheriff of Calhoun County, Matthew Wade, and this is Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Sheriff?
Always good to be on the show, John. It's always good to be with you.
Yeah, it's good to have
Absolutely.
you.
Yep.
We did. I think we did a rerun last week.
We did. You know, sometimes life gets busy and people can't do everything they need to do.
Right. But speaking about things that you guys accomplished, let's take a look at the.
One arrest this week brings our count up to 5,209 people arrested, all because y'all were willing to help us, and we appreciate that very much.
And that's like for 20 years we've been doing this show, right?
Yeah, it's probably 20 plus years. I know I've been a part of it since 2005.
Yeah, so it was 2004 or earlier. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
The county's been doing lots of work for us, and you got something else coming up.
Yeah, well, you know, times have been tough for sheriffs across the state of Alabama, and we're looking for new ways of trying to make up some revenue loss that we've had from the loss of pistol permits.
Oh, yeah.
So we've come up, we're going to do a rodeo on March the 22nd and 23rd of 2024. And I know that sounds like a long way off, but it's actually not. And this is going to be a Professional Cowboys Association rodeo, and the prize money is going to be that of such that we should have several world champions come. So it's going to be at Choccolocco Park. The city of Oxford has been gracious to host it for us.
That's fantastic. So we're going to talk more about that as we get closer to March. And we're going to be talking now about the first half of the lineup, and we'll be back with a really important guest here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. Our lineup this week brought to you by Abe's Ace Bail Bonds. Abe's Ace Bail Bonds located in Heflin, that's Cleburne County, at 256-463-1824, and here in Calhoun County, 256-831-0074. First up in our lineup this week, Tommy Surrett. Mr. Surrett, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for escape first. And this is Jacob Watts. Mr. Watts, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for theft of property first. And take a look at James Payton. Mr. Payton, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Antonio Andrews. Mr. Andrews, last known to be living in Oxford, he's wanted for burglary second. And meet Adam Cole. Mr. Cole, last known to be living in Piedmont, he's wanted for a probation violation. And that's it for the first half of the lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. And if you know where they are, give Sheriff Matthew Wade a call. You call, he hauls. We are here with Jason Lindell, not the pillow guy.
No. If I was related to him, I probably wouldn't be sitting up here.
But it would be fun if you were related to him. We could have a whole different conversation.
I do have an Uncle Michael Lindell, but it's not that one.
It's not that one?
No.
Well, okay then. So what do you sleep on?
My pillow.
Your pillow.
My pillow.
Jason is a prevention coordinator, is that right? With ASAP, the Agency for Substance Abuse Prevention. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what ASAP does for our viewers.
So we are the state mandated prevention agency for actually 6 counties now: Cleburne, Calhoun, Coosa, Randolph, Talladega, and Randolph. So we're the prevention agency. We're specialized a lot in education on the dangers of substance misuse that is out there currently.
And ASAP has grown over the years. I know the sheriff and I remember when it was in this little back room somewhere in west side of town, and it was just smaller than this studio.
Yes. Well, when you have the Prevenger working for you, good things
Yeah, the
happen.
Prevenger. Yes. Do you know the Prevenger?
I do, and you'll meet her older brother soon.
The Prevenger has an older brother?
Yes, I've got to be mom on it, but you will see a sibling here very soon.
Always good to have an extra superhero.
Right, and the more the merrier, right?
That's right.
The more the merrier.
That's right.
So
that's too cool.
It comes down to just prevention and how we can creatively get the word out and cause people to become aware of their surroundings with substances nowadays.
And there, times have changed. Things are different. 5 to 10 years ago, the sheriff's office would get calls with people who said that somebody was in their home or trying to hurt them and things of that nature, and we'd go out there, and it would just be that they were on methamphetamines and seeing things that weren't true because they'd been up for so long, and those drugs were affecting their mind in that manner. We really don't get those calls anymore. We get calls of people that are unresponsive and not breathing. And so we have to have Narcan, and we have to go out, and hopefully we can revive them with Narcan, or the EMTs can. And I bring up those differences because methamphetamines normally 5 to 10 years ago, unless you ingested it, it wouldn't hurt you. In today's world with fentanyl and the way that it is, you can just be in the room and it can become an aerosol and hurt somebody in the room, or you can touch it even with some gloves on and it can go through them gloves and be ingested by a person and make them overdose. So it's not just the people that are necessarily doing the drugs, it can affect family members, kids, first responders. So 5 to 10 years ago, what we're dealing with to now has vastly changed in how it affects even just people that live in the home with some of these people who have a substance misuse disorder. So things are different and things are always changing. So people need to know about fentanyl. They need to know how it acts, how it can be transmitted, how it can be ingested, because not just because somebody in your family might use it, but if they're using it, it's a good chance that it could affect you even though you don't want to use it.
Right.
So.
And it's in everything. They're lacing marijuana with it. And
That's right.
all kinds of stuff. And in states where they've legalized recreational marijuana, they now have proof that marijuana leads to opioid misuse and suicidality. So
Well, and that's just like these chemicals in vapes, these Delta 8s and 10s and different things. We don't know what's in that. That's made in China somewhere.
Right.
And there's no regulation to it. There's no government regulation or entity that goes and checks these things to make sure that what is in that is supposed to be in that. And so we have no idea. So you're ingesting that. And we've seen an uptick in people who appear to have a very severe mental disorder and they get arrested for doing bad things, and then they come to jail and they're just totally out of it for a week, maybe 2. Then all of a sudden, they're back to normal.
Yeah, it goes back to the education that sometimes we feel like a stockbroker because it changes. It's funny you say 5 to 10 years ago, where we were just 5 to 10 years ago, that now you can walk into your local gas station and there's stuff that, if you're not careful, can cause those adverse effects on the mental state, the emotional state, and then cause you to do.
And I think most people believe that if it's in a store being sold by a legitimate business, that it's safe, that somebody somewhere has said, okay, this is okay to ingest. That's just not the case. Those stores are selling it because they make money off of it, not because it's been certified as something that's okay for you.
Right.
yeah, it's not regulated. FDA has nothing to do with any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So how does ASAP educate that, and who's your target audience?
We've got target audiences whether you go out to the schools and we've got some school-based programs would be Mendez Too Good for Drugs, Y Tribe programs to your average adults. Then a lot of times they're grandparents, because in this area we've got a lot of grandparents that are raising grandkids. And again, when stuff is coming down so fast, things are changing because it's all chemically made. We do everything from to the school to the nursing home, and anybody who will listen to us.
Wow. So you guys go out to nursing homes? Really?
Absolutely. You'd be amazed.
That's
You'd be
amazing.
amazed.
That is amazing. Well, nursing homes have a particular set of problems as well.
Absolutely.
All right. So ASAP now is over which counties? You said 6 counties?
6. All right. So Calhoun, Cleburne, Randolph, Coosa, Talladega, and who am I missing? Clay.
All right. And are you in the school systems in all those counties?
We just started actually in October, so 2-3 weeks ago. So we're just now starting to build those relationships with law enforcement, with some of the schools there, more so the CPCs down in Clay and Randolph County. So really just trying to introduce ourselves currently to them.
When the school systems have school resource officers, like the county, the sheriff provides school resource officers there, is that a good resource for you?
It is for us because we've had a great relationship. I've been with ASAP 12 years, and we've always had a great relationship with and I'm just going to use the Calhoun County Sheriff's Department. They've got someone in the school 24/7. So when we go, we can also say, hey, if you need to talk, discuss, there's someone always on campus that you can lean on, ask questions, talk to about. And if we're not in there, and they know how to get a hold of us as well. So having resource officers is highly, highly important.
And you mentioned Y Try. Just briefly tell us what Y Try is.
Y Try is kind of a selective program for kids that are, they call them the tier 2, need a little bit more guidance. They're kind of on that fork in the road where they can go right or left, and they just need that little bit of extra love and attention, and guidance is really what it is, because a lot of them don't have that in their normal everyday life.
So is that working with the kids or with the parents or both?
Both. We do more with the kids. I know there's some agencies out there that do kind of parent classes with YTRI as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll talk more about what ASAP is doing, and we're going to have the second half of the lineup here with you on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Ron Stewart. Mr. Stewart, last known to be living in Ohatchee, he's wanted for unlawful distribution and furnishing of a controlled substance. And this is Brighton Cockrell. Miss Cockrell, last known to be living in Piedmont. She's wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And meet Philip Crossley. Mr. Crossley, last known to be living in Anniston. He is wanted for possession of a controlled substance. And this is Jared Cunningham. Mr. Cunningham, last known to be living in Oxford. He's wanted for use and possession of a controlled substance. And take a look at Tamar Jordan. Mr. Jordan, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for unlawful distribution. And that's it for the lineup this week. If you have any information on the whereabouts of these folks, please call Crime Stoppers. That number 1-833-251-7867. Welcome back. We hope you saw somebody in that half of the lineup. You might know where they are. If you do, call Crime Stoppers, call the Sheriff's Office. You call, they haul. We are here with Jason Lindell, not the pillow guy.
Sorry.
I just can't resist it. I just can't. I'm sorry. I can't do it. With ASAP, we were talking about the programs that ASAP has in the 6 counties and how it's grown. Mm-hmm. And you've got a program coming up. So we're talking about just drugs in general, mm-hmm. and kids and fentanyl and opioids, right? So some of that stuff comes in pill form.
Yes.
In prescriptions.
And it's how a lot of people get started, you know. And I got picked on. I say picked on. I got lambasted one time. So I was talking about, you know, be careful with your prescriptions for these opioids. And people say that's my medicine. And I'm not saying that a doctor shouldn't prescribe it to somebody that it's not needed, or that they shouldn't be taking it. It's just very. It's a very dangerous substance, and it needs to be monitored very closely. And people shouldn't. An opioid shouldn't be the first go-to that a doctor should prescribe, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I do see a lot of people who had car accidents or something happen, surgery, and they start taking opioids. Next thing you know, they're abusing them. They're trying to get them any way they can. They start stealing them. They start finding them somewhere else. Then they start going to illegal substance like heroin, fentanyl, and it's just a slippery slope until it takes their life. Also, you know, parents, you know, every parent has their medicine cabinet. My mother had one, we have one, and there's stuff that you leave in that medicine cabinet. You get prescribed something, and you go, well, I didn't take all of that, I didn't need all that, so I'll leave it in there. No harm, no foul, right? Teenagers in the home, somebody that has a substance abuse problem gets into that, and it just, they need to be secured. If they're not going to use them, instead of just keeping them, you need to do something with them, and that's why Jason's.
Yeah, and so you're doing drug take back.
It's that time of year we do semi-annually partner with the DEA, their National Prescription Drug Take Back Days, where you can bring your old, expired, unused prescription drugs and drop them off safely. They will be disposed of in the correct manner. So it allows people to kind of clean out a little bit to get rid of stuff, especially if you're not using it. No need for them to hang around.
And, you know, you don't want to put that. You don't want to put those kind of drugs in the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely don't want to flush them down the commode. That contaminates our water. So the safest thing to do is to bring them to the National Drug Take Back. You know, and there's also places you can bring them 365 days a year. Our sheriff's office is one of those places. It's like a little mailbox. Mm-hmm. You know, some younger people might not know what a mailbox is, right. but you know, people my age and older do. You know, you can come in the sheriff's office and it says what it is, and you just open the door and you put it in and close it.
Can you do that after hours?
You can't do it after hours, but
hour.
If you want to do it after hours and you come to the sheriff's office and you told our dispatchers what you needed it for, they would call somebody in to help you. So, and we're just one location. I know most law enforcement agencies have those, but it's definitely a good way to get rid of them, and you know, just flushing them down the toilet or leaving them in your cabinet's just not safe. And last thing any parent or grandparent wants is to have enabled their child to get a hold of some type of substance that would cause them not to be healthy, to cause an addiction, or to take their life. So in today's world, that medicines are that potent that these opioids are taking people's lives all the time. And it doesn't matter if you're rich, it doesn't matter if you're poor, it doesn't care about any of that. I would say a lot of times people that have more means to do stuff in the world, their children might be at more of a risk because they have more stuff available to them.
Yep.
And we've had stories of kids that, elementary school kids that take some pills from the medicine cabinet, and they just bring them to school and start handing them out. And, they think that's cool. They don't know what the heck they're doing. And next thing you know, you've got a crisis at the school.
It's prescribed by a doctor, it must be okay.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. And highly addictive. You don't know what's in those things. So drug take-back's a good deal. Do you know how many pounds of that you get a year out of your...
I don't off the top of my head, but I know they keep up with it. I just don't know what that number is.
It's a lot, I think.
It's a lot.
The drug take-back days have typically...
I remember when we started a few years ago, we had one location at the Walgreens in Anniston, and we were ecstatic if we got 50 pounds. Last year, and even this year, we'll have 4 locations. We'll have the same Walgreens in Anniston, CVS in Oxford, the Walgreens in Jacksonville, and Cleburne Pharmacy in Heflin. And hundreds of pounds comes in from combined those 4 locations, and have been for the last couple of years. So I'm amazed at how many people have them, keep them, don't know how to properly dispose of them. So it's a great way for you to just pull up, drop them off. I mean, we've got law enforcement there, so it's a safe environment. They are properly disposed of, and I don't know, we've kind of had a raffle system too. So if you want it, they give away $250 gift card. So you bring some, you get a ticket, and you got a chance of winning a $250 Visa gift card. Yeah.
So when is Drug Take Back Day?
October 28th from 10 to 2 p.m. at those 4 locations that I mentioned.
Okay, so tell us those locations again.
So you've got Anniston Walgreens, you've got CVS in Oxford, you've got the Walgreens in Jacksonville, and Cleburne Pharmacy in Heflin, downtown Heflin.
And law enforcement is there to protect
Absolutely.
the people and the meds.
Absolutely.
They're not there to go, wow, you've got pills in a bag. And
It's a safe place. We're not going to be asking questions or going after people going, where'd you get this from?
Nope.
We don't care. We just want you to bring it and get rid of it.
Bring it and get rid of it.
Absolutely.
People want more information about ASAP. How do they get a hold of it?
Our website is asap.prev.com, ASAPREV.com.
Outstanding. Jason, thanks for being on the show this
As
week.
always.
Always good to see you guys.
And
Next
great
time
to
I'm
see
going to
you.
bring you a pillow.
Yes, bring me a pillow. And we'll be right back with the Crime Stoppers portion of the show and the Crazy Criminal here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted. And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask your help on the following cases. First up, between October 15th and October 16th, a semi-trailer was broken into at the intersection of Highway 78 and Jamback Road in Anniston. 2 pallets of pork loin were stolen from that truck. And sometime on September 15th, buildings at the Sachs High School were broken into. An Easton fungal baseball bat, a box of baseballs, 23 feet of yellow drop cord, a spool of coax cable, all were stolen from that location. Suspects were an older white male wearing a blue shirt, mechanic-style gray cargo pants, and a bandana on his head, and a younger white male with long, dark beard wearing dark-colored shirt, blue jeans, work boots, and a backpack, and a bandana on his head, and a third younger white female wearing blue jeans and a dark shirt. And that's it for the Crime Stoppers cases. If you have any information on these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call. That number, 1-833-251-7867.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Well, Sheriff, it's crazy criminal time.
It is, they always talk about a pound of prevention or something like that. This is a foot of prevention.
A foot.
A foot.
Something's afoot.
Zachary Torrance, 18, of Hueytown, Alabama, who, if you remember Jared, that did the Subway diets. He was famous for losing all that weight with Subway. So Zachary here decided he wanted to try the Jared diet, and so he did it for a while, and he wasn't successful. So he felt like he needed his money back, and went on a robbery spree of robbing at least 4 Subways in Hueytown, Alabama.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So when he got caught, he told the investigators he felt like he deserved his money back for the failed diet attempt.
Huh. Did he lose weight when he went to jail?
I'm not sure.
Most people gain weight in jail.
They must have gained weight, but you know, the number of feet that he had, I'm not sure what the ratio was.
Yeah.
Somebody says, you know, it's hard to imagine that somebody that's 5 foot tall is just 5 Subway sandwiches.
I've never thought about measuring that. I'm 5'4", so what is that? Five and a half
Five and a half
Subway sandwiches.
Yes, there you go.
Now, we got some time, and I want to do something a little personal.
All right.
Okay, I have family visiting from California. My brother and sister-in-law, Jamie McPherson and his wife Cindy, whose birthday it is today. So come on up, Cindy. Come on up behind on the set, so we can do this real quick. Come on, just stand right between the sheriff and I. We're not going to ask you what birthday it is, but we want everybody to say hi to Cindy. She's from Los Angeles, California, my sister-in-law, and today is your birthday.
That's right.
So
It is.
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you
Isn't that
so
wonderful?
much. Thank you.
You have to be
A
careful.
birthday surprise.
You have to be careful saying L.A. and Alabama because we think that's Lower Alabama, not Los Angeles. So.
Yeah,
Los
now,
Angeles.
now you guys are visiting Alabama on your way to
To Louisiana.
Louisiana, but
Another
not
LA.
LSU, right?
Not LSU.
Where are you going?
Going to Tulane.
Tulane. See, LSU is you don't want to be talking about LSU up here.
No. All right. No, not in University of Alabama town. Yes.
Well, Sheriff, if Cindy wanted a job at the sheriff's office, how would she go about doing that?
She would contact us through our website, our Facebook page, and we're always hiring. We got several deputy spots open, and corrections and dispatch as always, and the pay has just been drastically increased. Give us a call.
And we'll see you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.